What is your message to the community at this point in y'all's investigation?
Well, a couple of things, Bill. Number one, I want the community to know that we are still very actively involved in the investigation. It may not be as visible as it was the first week, where you see officers out combing through fields and riding motorcycles and bikes and whatnot. Most of the investigation now is going on behind the scenes. It has to do with looking into digital data, forensic computer examinations and things like that.
Earlier this afternoon, I spoke with Caleb's dad by phone. He told me that he was 100% confident in CCPD and what you are doing to find his son. One thing that did concern him was all of the social media chatter out there, the disinformation that folks might be spreading, the allegations that folks might be spreading. What would you like the community to know just about some of the details to help clear up some of those misconceptions that are out there?
Sure. Social media can be a great tool for law enforcement, especially in a search like this. We have reached out through our social media asking for people to submit any tips, any information they may have. But the other, it's a two-sided sword. The other side of it is that people start speculating and making accusations and going off on tangents with information that they don't have. And unfortunately, we can't tell the public everything that we know in this investigation. It just doesn't work that way. We're not able to be completely transparent and share everything that we know. But we can very confidently say we have ruled out the roommates as having anything to do with this disappearance. His friends that he was communicating with that night over social media, we've ruled them out. We've ruled out the Uber driver that made the delivery. We have investigated very thoroughly all of those individuals. We wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't look at that possibility that they could have been involved. But we've done that, and we've put a lot of work into it initially, and we've crossed them off the list. So our next step is, to continue forward and see, what exactly happened to Caleb. We thoroughly searched the apartment. The roommates were very cooperative with us. There were no signs of any struggle, any violence. Caleb's owned a couple of firearms, several firearms. They were all accounted for. The roommates owned firearms. They were accounted for. The fishing gear, like I said, he was a very avid fisherman, and there was some speculation that maybe he went to go scout a new fishing hole or something like that, as odd as it seems at 3 in the morning. But all his fishing gear was there. His waders were there. So there was nothing like that would suggest that he was, had gone off on his own for any great distance.
With the amount of attention a case like this gets when you are talking about a missing college student, this is receiving national attention. How do you handle the amount of maybe tips or information coming in as a police department?
Well, we set up a couple of different venues where, there again, like I said, we try to use social media to get help from the public. We've made that outreach. We've given them several numbers to call. We've suggested Crime Stoppers is one of the ways that they can submit anonymous tips if they don't want to be identified. There's also a tip line that the family has set up along with a reward. Those tips come to us. We review those tips and for viability to see if they're something that we should be following up on immediately or something that can be delayed, but we review all of them. So far we've probably gotten around 50 tips all together, maybe more than that, through the several different ways that we're getting them.
At this point in the investigation, are you looking locally, or are you also looking outside of the area for any information coming in?
We haven't ruled out anything at this point. Certainly we started the search immediately right around where he lived, where he was last seen, and where the social media, where the digital information from his phone indicated where he was last. We've expanded that search in ways of reaching out to people that had spoken to him on the phone, things like that. But no, we haven't limited ourselves, and we won't limit ourselves until we know exactly where he is.
I know there's been a lot of chatter on social media, but regarding his last ping, possibly at a nearby business, what would you like to tell the community, of course, of what y'all have learned?
Initially it was a very urgent situation where we were trying to get information back from the cell phone providers and try to get that information really quickly and analyze it quickly. And as a result, I think there was some bad information that it tended to show that his phone was pinging miles away from where he lived or where he was last seen. I think as we've progressed in the last couple weeks and reanalyzed that information and gathered more information from the cell providers, the working theory we have right now is that that last ping was probably right either in the complex or out on the street right in front of the complex. It's an evolving investigation, and that could change based on the information that we continue to get back from the providers, from the social media applications and whatnot that he had on his phone and on his computer. So it's potentially could change, but right now we feel pretty confident about that right now.
Do you still need people in the community, of course, if they might have any doorbell camera, ring camera, blink cameras, anything like that? How much does that help out in an investigation like this?
Oh, it's tremendous. Unfortunately, the night he disappeared, it was extremely foggy. And the video that we've collected already, we've already gone to over 50 businesses and different private residences, and collected video. Of the 50 that we've been to, we've collected, I believe, 27 different sources of video. The problem with that is a lot of it is very difficult to see because it was so foggy that night. But it is valuable to us. We're using it. So to answer your question, yes, if there's anybody certainly within that complex that has doorbell camera from that evening that they think would be useful to us, or anywhere in the surrounding area, we're still looking, and we'll continue to look. We've got people out today looking for video sources, maybe not necessarily right there in that area, but the surrounding area. It's ongoing, but we believe the last place that he was seen, that we can definitively say he was at, is near that bridge right out in front of the apartment complex. And there again, because it was so foggy that night, one of the initial thoughts was maybe he got hit by a car. But we searched that area so well, there was no sign of any accident, no broken headlights or taillights or turn signals, no blood, nothing that would indicate that.
There's so many people out there who are helping search, volunteers who are out there, people coming in from outside the city to help in those search efforts. What advice do you have for them to stay safe while they are searching? I was out with a small group of people yesterday, and they were going through some pretty difficult elements, the mud, the brush, and they were coming across some homeless encampments as well.
First of all, I think it's incredible. The response that has come from our community, Caleb's community, New Braunfels and San Antonio, his friends, the university, it's really an incredible thing to see from our standpoint, that many people are willing to take time out of their day and go out and search for this young man. It's an incredible thing to see from law enforcement side. To answer your question, we want them to be as cautious as possible and use as much safety techniques and safety tactics as they can. The brush around here is heavy, it's thick, you can easily cut yourself. There's broken glass, there's all kinds of things, fish hooks in a lot of these areas that they're going around in, and also venomous snakes. We have rattlers and water moccasins and things like that in those areas, so they need to be very cautious when they're doing those searches. Additionally, one of the things that we saw was that I have seen on social media is going down into enclosed areas like culverts, enclosed drainage pipes, things like that. Our dive team, when they did their search, they actually have equipment that we use along with the fire department to detect dangerous gases. And we were actually told, do not go in that drainage ditch or that one drainage culvert, enclosed culvert, because there could be methane gas and whatnot in there. So we would certainly encourage them to be very cautious if they have any of that type of safety equipment available to test before they go in there, because we'd hate to see another tragedy with people that are doing the right thing for the right reason, and we would certainly hate to see anybody get hurt or, or seriously injured.
There are a few other missing person cases as well that are still open. But when you have cases like this, or when you have an investigation like this, do you add more people to focus on that investigation, or is it a department-wide type of deal where everyone kind of gets involved?
Well, in this particular situation, the circumstances were so unusual. The circumstances here were very unusual from the beginning. Our investigators, our detectives, got involved very quickly, where normally there's a time period before they start getting actively involved, as actively involved. That's not saying we're not doing anything. We immediately put out bolos, be on the lookouts for people that are missing. That happens immediately as soon as the first officer gets there and determines that, yeah, there's enough to substantiate this person's missing. That happens immediately. So then every officer in the city is looking for that individual, and if they come across them just routinely, the dispatchers will let them know, hey, that's a missing person you're talking to. And we do that. But in this case, it was much different. So immediately we started getting a lot of people involved. We had detectives out there. We recruited Texas Search and Rescue. We recruited, I say recruited them, we reached out to them to assist in the search. We did a massive search around the immediate area. We brought in our forensic computer examiners to download his laptop. We brought in crime analysts to go out and start searching for surveillance video, for ring camera video and whatnot. I know there's been several in social media suggesting that we've had several missing persons of the same age and males, and that there appears to be maybe some kind of conspiracy or something going on. Early on in the investigation, we went back and reviewed all of the missing persons reports for the last 3 years to look to see if there was any connection. Now, there are some similarities, and there's some similarities. Caleb was an avid fisherman, avid hunter. We've had a couple other missing persons where it's similar. They're avid fishermen or avid hunters. But there was nothing that we found that showed any type of a connection. And the analogy I would make is, if you had 4 or 5 missing young men from Breckenridge, Colorado, it probably wouldn't be a surprise to find out that they were all avid skiers, right? Because the area we live in, there's a lot of young men, and they like to fish, they like to hunt. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's connected. It's just, okay, they have kind of the same interests, and that's pretty much what we found.
Earlier I had mentioned that we spoke with Caleb's dad, and he said he was 100% confident in CCPD that you guys are doing everything you can to find his son. Are you confident in the department and the work you guys are doing to find Caleb?
I'm very confident. I've been amazed by the work that's being done behind the scenes. We have some very talented people. They're not out on, driving around in a patrol car. They're behind the scenes going through computer data, issuing search warrants for digital information, subpoenas, all those types of things. And it's not a glamorous job, but they're doing incredible work. And then just the amount of sharing that's going on right now between us. We have U.S. Marshals assisting us. We have the FBI assisting us. We have the Texas Rangers assisting us. And there's no egos going on. Everybody's sharing information. Everybody's working together. So I'm very confident that we are doing everything we possibly can to find this young man.